Alright guys, Rusty here, Ugly HP. I'm going to go over the 3 things that have made me quite a bit of money, and I'll break it down on what you could see and what basically I see. So the first one that people kind of sleep on is storage. Um, you can, people, like I'm in Florida, so we see a lot of snowbirds. So there are people that leave their vehicles and don't really have a place to leave them, or don't want to leave them where they're at and stuff like that. So we charge storage here. We also charge storage if they don't pick their vehicle up with a certain amount of days, which if you do that, you can make pretty good money. The customer might seem a little irritated with that, but as long as you say heads up, hey, if you're going to tell me to do this job and I'm going to do it, and then you're going to tell me that you're not picking it up for a week, well, we're going to charge you for the parking that's taken up, because like where I don't own the building where I'm at, I'm only allowed, well, pretty much every business only has so much parking, whether you own the business or not. But the unit I'm in, I think I only have 9 spots if you don't count in front of the bays. And then I rent out an extra lane that's a separate parking where they could do RVs and stuff, but I could fit 3 vehicles there. That only cost me an extra $60 a month. So what I normally do is I'll just, if somebody needs parking or something like that, I normally tell them $150, and it's pretty much a vehicle that you can move around. It helps to make it look like you're not dead whenever it's slow, because you can move it into a spot and then move it back to a different spot later. So that's one thing that I used to not do, because I was always worried, hey, that if I allow this to be here, I won't have parking for something else. So you also have to just think of, like, if you rent out too many spots, how much parking are you going to have available for the work you do? I'm a very quick flow shop, so we get them in and get them out pretty fast. And I do scheduling very well, so I would say my parking, only every once in a while I run into an issue with parking, which then I just double park in front of the bay and stuff like that until stuff gets picked up. But that renting out or allowing people to store stuff here nets me kind of an extra $15 to $2,000 a month. And that's based on like people that leave stuff that I've repaired and decided that they're just going to pay storage, because I charge a different rate if they're just going to leave it here until they decide to pick it up, which is $25 a day. And I have one customer that seems to be fine paying me $25 on a day on 2 vehicles, 2 vehicles now, that he has no room for because he lives out of a hotel or something, just claims to be rich. But he does pay. He's not one of the people that are going to be like, oh yeah, I got you, and then never gets me. So right now I make about $2,000 a month in extra storage. I will take you to the next thing and break down the numbers on it. Let me walk out here real quick. Alright guys, so number 2 on my list of things that have made me good money, that when you really break it down, it's definitely something you want to do. I live in Florida, so I'm guessing certain states maybe it might not be as profitable as it is for me, like, because I do this stuff all year round. New Yorkers come down here in the wintertime and I'm doing AC recharges every day. Cylinder costs me $300 right now, $350 depending where you go to. You have to shop around with this stuff. 30-pound cylinder. I try to stay cheaper than those little AC Pro things and stuff like that. Make sure you have a machine. I worked at a shop and they did the manual. Let me see, because even I started out doing this. So if you think you're gonna make money with these things right here, don't. You're not gonna make money. A 30-pound cylinder maybe lasts me a week if I was using those gauges. This 30-pound cylinder right here in Florida doing AC recharges daily with the machine probably lasts me 2 to 3 months, and you're making money on it. So break down the cost on this. The way I do my pricing is I do $29.99 for the first pound, and with the market being up right now, it's $2 an ounce after that. If they want me to put a dye in it, the total recharge with the dye, and the reason why I charge way extra with the dye is because now they can just go anywhere and get it diagnosed, is $120. So it's $120 for me to do an oil injection with the Freon. If I'm just doing a recharge, it goes by the size of the system, because I have to, with this machine, I have to recover it, vacuum it, and then recharge it. So with that being said, I don't do top offs here. It's whatever the size of the system is, and that's what I get. So if I were to just do cars that were only 1 pound, this will make me $900. I probably make between 2 to 3,000 per can. So if you really break it down, you spend $300. If you advertise a little bit heavier in hot areas, and when you do recharges like this, the other thing is if they're coming in for a recharge, 75% of the cars, it's because they have a leak. So you upsell them on the AC recharge and dye, tell them to bring it back whenever it leaks out or in a few weeks, and you diagnose the leak and you get the repair. Everything else comes in because it's not working, they think it needs a recharge, you get that AC job. So AC jobs right now are over $1,000 to do. I do the complete thing: condenser, compressor, everything. This way I don't have to see them coming back because something else fails because of contamination in the system. Do the whole job. This gets them in. You make a lot of money on that. Alright guys, so this is my number 2. Makes me good money, especially in the summertime, and it still makes me good money in the wintertime. So now I'll go into the third one, which I slept on for the longest time. Towing. Towing is the one thing that I slept on for the longest time, and it makes a killing. I don't do the jump starts. I have this old truck. You know, I paid $14,000 for this rollback. This has the wheel lift and everything. This is a diesel 7.3. So I can do 2 cars at one time. It's an automatic. It's not the manual. Transmission, it seems like every 100K does have to have some work done, torque converter or something like that. It's a 96. I charge $60 for anything within 10 miles in the area I'm working in. If I have to go out of town, which I do a lot, I do 80 to like 300 miles away, I charge $3 a mile with a $60 hookup. And everything for this truck is cheap. Fuel filter oil change every 10,000 miles. I do that probably every month and a half. It's an older truck. You do run into problems, but this thing paid itself off within a few months of me owning it. Winch cables, I probably go through 1 a year, and that's just from misuse from a driver. I pay a driver. You could pay a driver salary, or you could pay a driver on commission. I do salary commission, so they're on salary 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, and then, you know, if they want to work after hours, I just split that stuff with them. And I give them a 50-50 split because it's after hours. I have a secondary phone for this, so that's like $80 a month on the cell phone. I know some people might be like, oh, I can do Walmart Cricket or something like that for $10, but I have a different carrier. Fuel cost, right now fuel is high. This is a diesel. I probably go through about $250 to $300 in fuel a week, plus my driver pay, but I still come out, you know, on top at the end of the week. Plus I offer free towing to any of my customers as long as it's within the 10 miles. So a lot of people that free towing, because for some reason people think towing is mad expensive. It gets them in the door. Like they're like, oh, I'm getting a repair and a tow. The tow doesn't cost you but a couple bucks in gas. I don't like add it into the price, but yeah. Hold on one second. So yeah, I just wanted to get out of the sun. I do not add the price of the tow into like the estimate. I just give it to them, and you make quite a bit of money. And all you have to do is insure the tow truck through your shop, so you're not paying like a towing tow truck insurance. My insurance for the truck is like $2 something a month. That's with my driver on there. And then what I do is I didn't sign up with like AAA. I didn't sign up with an insurance company or any of those roadside assistance programs. I just went around and offered my services to other shops. I have noticed that towing has kind of like exploded, so there is a lot of competition, but at $60 for a 10-mile, pickup and drop off, that seems to be pretty fair and cheap, and a lot of shops are willing to do that. So I tow to a lot of shops, which is so much easier than trying to run a 24-hour service. That I slept on for the longest time, and I regret it because I wanted to get one from the get-go. And it's hard to like throw out 14,000 because it's not like a Snap-on, like the brake lathe was 14,000. Snap-on gave me payments on that. It's not like I can go get an old tow truck and make payments on it. No, you're gonna be paying cash for it. But if you're running it and you're running the shop, like I've gone through a couple of drivers, not because I'm a bad boss, just because people move on. I normally get like younger guys that are in college, so they're needing an extra job, and it's so easy to train them. I mean, it's a little scary to be like, oh man, if they haven't been around vehicles, on how to load these things, but you pretty much tell them, hey man, you can go on YouTube if you can't figure out how to put in neutral. It's so easy to train them. You pretty much just ride with them for one day, and you'll be able to tell if they're catching on or not. But even when I'm like down a driver, I just forward all the calls to my phone, go do a tow, come back. I'm not a heavy volume tow shop. I probably do 3 a minimum a day, probably 12 on a heavy day, but on average 5 to 6. So the tow truck makes me money. So might not work for you, but I can tell you it's those 3 things won't lose you money. It'll vary on how much they'll make you, but those are 3 things that I slept on a little bit at first, but then noticed that hey, these things make small difference. But yeah, check out our other video I did on 3 things that will lose you money, and I threw in an extra thing at the end of the video that I didn't really think of, but it's basically 4 things that'll cause you to lose money. Check us out on Facebook, hit the like button, subscribe, and as always, keep wrenching.